2015. Now, this was in Yei, South Sudan. I was for my Form 6 vacation, and it was at the end of the year. I had gone to visit my sister, my elder sister. Now, this wasn't my first time to be in South Sudan. I had visited Kajokeji before. Kajokeji is like actually my second home because I come from Moyo, which just, borders Kajokeji. And I think I'd also visited Nimule before. But this was my first time to be in Yei. Now, it was a mid-morning. I was heading to the market. And there was a shop nearby, just next to the house where my sister was staying. As I was passing by, I heard a language being spoken. And this language really, really caught my attention because it sounded like Maditi. But when I tried to, draw closer, it actually wasn't my language. And then I thought maybe it's Lugbara tea. Unfortunately, it also wasn't Lugbara. So I got closer trying to hear, but it was like confused Madi, confused Lugbara, and I was really, really very, very curious. So I branched and I went to this particular shop. I found there were two people who were speaking this language, and I asked them, I was like, sorry for interrupting, but I had a language that sounds like mine, but then it is not mine. Which language are you speaking? The lady asked me, which language do you speak? I said, I speak Maditi, I am a Madi. She was like, the language we are speaking is Avukaya. We are one people. Actually, the Madi, the Lugbara, they all came from here before going to the eastern part of the country. She went ahead and told me that the Avukaya are found in Maridi, and then some of them are actually found in some parts of Yei. I was very, very, very shocked. Let me tell you why I was shocked. Now, if you come from Uganda, and especially if you are a Madi or if you are a Lugbara, you will know that our ethnic family is a minority. Now, when I say minority, I do not mean that maybe we are being marginalized in a way, not that, but not in this context, but we are few in number as compared to the rest of the other ethnic communities. Look at the Bantu, for example. If we are to ask you, name some of the Bantu communities, you will name them. The Baganda, the Wasoga, there are so many, okay? Come to the Nilotes, okay? Not even the whole Nilotic community that has the Itesots, the Karamojong, just the Luo. You would also have, a list. But come to the Lugbara or the Madi. Growing up, I only knew of the Lugbara people who were connected to my people. In fact, I thought we were only two communities in the whole world, okay? And because I think I had heard of the Kebu people before, and even the Lendu people. But then, according to the explanation that I'd gotten at that time, I was told that they were part of the Lugbara community. So in my small head, I just knew that it's only the Madi, and then what? The Madi, and then the Lugbara people. Now, looking at the education system of Uganda, throughout all our, when we were studying history, the history of the pre-colonial people, right from SST, we went in depth studying about the Bantu people, studying about the Nilotes, their cultures, their migration, their stories, their histories, okay? I even knew about, their chiefs, their kings, one by one. Chief Awich, Omukama Kavalega, Kabaka Muanga. Those were the things that we were actually taught. I knew them by heart, okay? But never before had I ever heard of the Mali people or the Lugbara people being studied intentionally, okay? I had never, not even jokingly, not even as, for example, I had never encountered that. I think it was, there was one time in one of the SST textbooks, I found something where they had listed the ethnic communities of Uganda. We had the Bantu, we had the Nilotes divided into two and all that. And then I came across a new terminology called the Sudanic. For me to look at the example that they had given, We had the Madi and then the Lugbara. But that was the last time that I ever encountered that. I went ahead and I did history, in O level. I got even distinctions, super distinctions actually. Okay, I went ahead even in A level, West African history, South African, the Shaka Zulus. We even crossed borders. Ask me about Napoleon Bonaparte. I'll even tell you when he was born, when he died, the names of his wives. The Crimean War, who made this one angry, what happened. I knew all about that. But tell me why I did not know that there was a nearby community called Avukaya that was actually connected to my people. Now, all along, I was really curious. I've always been a lover of history, a lover of stories. And at first I thought maybe because why we are not being, intentionally studied, actually there was even no defined ethnic community that we belonged to. At first I thought maybe is it because our stories, our histories are very insignificant? Don't we matter? And then I was like, okay, maybe because there was a little bit of confusion on how the colonialists, how we ended up in Uganda. At one point we were in Sudan. Then, I don't know, they thought about something, they pushed us to DRC. This is West Nile, okay? Then I think it was in 1914 that West Nile was officially brought to be part of Uganda. So we are South Sudanese, we are Congolese at the same time, and then we are actually Ugandans. So I thought maybe it's because of that. But then still, it doesn't really make sense. And then I thought maybe because we are few, okay? It is just the Madi and then the Lugbara. If you were to look at the population differences with the rest of the communities, you would see that. So I concluded, I said, okay, maybe the reason why we are not being taken that seriously is because we are few in number and it's only the Madi and then the Lugbara people. Until I encountered the Avukaya. And that day, the lady and the gentleman, they went ahead and educated me, okay? They went ahead and they educated me about some of the communities that are nearby that also speak like Madi. They told me about, of course, that they were the Avukaya, but then they told me about the Moru people. They told me about the Keliko. They told me about the Logo people. They told me about the Bongo people. Okay. Now that day, I came to know about seven siblings. I had encountered 7 siblings from nowhere. So that encounter made me to actually become more curious. By then, I had already begun my writing journey, and I was already working on my first historical novel. Okay, I'd already begun working on it. Now, after encountering the Avukaya people, I began digging. From that time until now, I am still digging. I'm trying to find answers. Okay. Among the key things that I got in this research that I've been doing is that our community has been categorized. Actually, we have been classified under the Central Sudanic people group. Now, we are not the Nilotic people, as most of us have been thinking. We are actually not under the Nilotic, but we belong to a broader Nilo-Saharan, the Nilo-Saharan family, under which we belong to the Central Sudanic people. Now, other scholars call us the Central Sudanic, others just call us the Sudanic. So when I say Sudanic or Central Sudanic in this particular context, I am meaning the same things. Now, that is the first thing. The second thing is that, can you believe how shocked I was when I found out that we were not 2. It wasn't only the Madi and the Lugbara, and we were not 7. We were actually 66. There are actually about 66 communities and languages that are categorized under the Central Sudanic people. Let me tell you what would even shock me. What would actually shock you on top, okay? Now, apart from us being 66, You can imagine waking up one morning thinking you're only 2 or 7 people in the family, and then you come to find out that you actually have, I don't know how many, more than 60 other siblings in your father's compound. Now, these 66 communities are spread along about 6 to 7 countries. You will find us in Central African Republic, where actually we are the majority. You will also find us in Chad. You will find us in Sudan. You will find us in South Sudan. You'll find us in DRC, Congo. Yeah, that is DRC. You'll find us in Uganda. Okay? And then some scholars say that even some parts of Cameroon. I am yet to confirm that. Okay? So, this is the first thing that I want to share about what I found. Okay? Something that shocked me. Maybe it's not shocking you right now because you're people who studied in planned schools, or you're the Gen Zs who are having the new curriculum. And maybe these are some of the things that are already being taught. But for us, I did not encounter that. That's why I was actually very shocked. Now, that is not even the most interesting part. The heart of our conversation today is, apart from finding out that we are actually 66, less than 20 of this number, less than 20 of these siblings are actually healthy and living. Less than 20. The majority of, we have parts of our communities and languages that have been categorized under the extinct languages of Africa. When I say extinct, it means they are dead and gone. Due to various reasons, these languages are no longer being spoken. Some do have, some documentations about them, but the majority of the extinct languages do not even have any documentation, not even a small audio, not even nothing. Totally. They are dead and gone. Okay? Now, others are not dead and gone, but they are endangered. Now, majority of our siblings are actually part of the endangered languages, part of the endangered communities of Africa. Endangered meaning that maybe in 50 years, they are going to vanish. They are going to disappear. They will be no more. Okay? And then others are actually on ICU as I'm speaking. The linguists have said even if we do what, these languages will not recover because some of them have less than 500 people speaking them, that even the children do not know their languages. And this is due to various reasons. Okay? And that is why we are here today. So, this is going to be a school. I am opening up this platform officially today that we are going to make it a point that we are going to intentionally start studying about the Sudanic people. Where are we? Where are these sons of my father and the daughters of my mother? Where are they? In all these countries, why are we silent? Just go online and try to Google the Bantu people. Okay? Try to Google just go and try to search the Luo people or the Nilotic people. See the kind of information that you will get. And then go, actually that is your homework for today. Then go and search about the Central Sudanic people and then see the kind of information that you will get. Where are we? Why the silence? In this 21st century, honestly, can't we build up a community to share our histories, our stories, and our heritage? Where are we? So that is why we are here today. This is going to be a platform. It's actually going to be a school where we are going to learn, where we are going to unlearn, where we are going to we are going to talk about everything that there is to talk about. Our foods, our dances, our languages. How related are we? How unique are we? Okay? And if you know you belong to these, if you know, and maybe you belong to the 66, or if you don't know that you actually belong to either the Kebu, the Baguirmi, the Kaba, I'm sure most of you are seeing these names for the first time, okay? The Kresh, the Sar, where are all these people? Where are they? We want to find that out. And these categories, is it true that they are actually extinct? Is it true that they're actually endangered? What is happening? How can we change that? And we are going to name this school the Sudanic Academy. So welcome to the Sudanic Academy. Anzo Khosu.